Hey there, quick pause before we dive into today's episode. If you've been feeling behind in your business, if you're working hard but you're still questioning why it feels heavier than it should, and if you're trying to grow without burning out, then I created something for you. It's called the Sustainable Success Reset. This is a private podcast series designed specifically for mom entrepreneurs who are done white knuckling their way through growth. Inside this short audio series, we're going to be unpacking why burnout doesn't mean you're behind, why your season of life is actually the strategy, and what sustainable success really looks like when you build around your real capacity, not hustle culture. This series is designed to help you feel clarity instead of chaos. You can sign up for free by going to momsmakemoneycollective.com/reset. Once again, momsmakemoneycollective.com/reset. The link is also available in the show notes for you. All right, let's get into this episode. We've all heard it before. Business is a marathon, not a sprint. But what no one tells you is that motherhood already is a marathon, and when you combine the two, you've got to pace yourself or you're going to burn out before the halfway mark. Let's jump in. Welcome to the Moms Make Money podcast. I'm your host, Jenny. I'm the owner of Moms Make Money Collective, a podcast and visibility strategist and mom of two. Many moms feel like we need to sacrifice our careers for our children, but I wholeheartedly believe that we can have a thriving business and family at the same time. In this podcast, we're going to be diving into the ins and outs of running a business as a mom and getting real and raw about all things parenting. So buckle up because we're about to go all in. Hey, welcome to the Moms Make Money podcast, the podcast for mom entrepreneurs wanting to create sustainable businesses in part-time hours. I'm your host, Jenny, and I'm so excited that you're here. So when I first started my business, I treated it like a sprint. I wanted instant results. Clients now, money now, growth now. I told myself if I just push hard for a few months, then I can relax. But here's the truth. The finish line just kept on moving further away. There was always another launch or another revenue goal or another strategy someone swore that I needed or another shiny tactic promising quicker growth. And before I knew it, I'd been sprinting for years, all while raising little kids, running a household, trying to be present, trying to be healthy, trying to be present and healthy, and trying not to completely lose myself in the process. And that is when it hit me. Motherhood is already endurance work. It's the long nights, the early mornings, the mental load, constant pivoting, and the invisible emotional labor. You're not just running a marathon, you're running two. And the thing about sprints is that they're designed for short bursts of energy, not lifelong sustainability. You can go all out for 100 meters, but you cannot run 26 miles at sprint speed. Yet, in business, that's exactly what we try to do. We sprint from launch to launch, client to client, offer to offer, trend to trend, and we convince ourselves that the next push will finally create relief. But relief doesn't come from sprinting harder, it comes from pacing yourself smarter. So if you study marathoners, they don't just show up on race day and hope that adrenaline carries them through. They train for endurance. Here's what they understand that we often forget. Number one, they pace themselves. They know that there's no prize for burning out in mile 2, so they start slower than they feel capable of. Why is that? Because they understand energy management is greater than ego. In business, pacing might look like saying no to a launch that doesn't align, keeping one core offer instead of 5 scattered ones, and choosing consistency over constant reinvention. Pacing means building something that you can repeat, not something that exhausts you. The second thing they do is they refuel along the way. So marathoners hydrate mid-race. They don't wait until they collapse to take care of themselves. But as moms in business, we tend to postpone refueling. We say things like, I'll rest after this launch, or I'll slow down after this quarter, or I'll take care of myself when revenue feels stable. But if you don't refuel during the race, you're not going to finish strong. So refueling in business might look like blocking a CEO day instead of squeezing work into every pocket, outsourcing before you're desperate, taking a true weekend off without checking Slack or email, and building in recurring revenue so that cash flow isn't adrenaline-based. The third thing marathoners do is they train gradually, so no one goes from couch to marathon overnight. They build strength incrementally. But in online business, we compare our mile 3 to someone else's mile 20. And then we try to match their speed. But sustainable growth looks like improving one system at a time, raising your prices intentionally, building one audience channel deeply instead of trying to be everywhere, and focusing on retention and refinement instead of constant new creation. Momentum isn't built in a week, it is built in repetition. So when I finally stopped sprinting and started training for endurance, everything shifted. I batched my podcast episodes instead of scrambling weekly. I automated my client onboarding instead of manually repeating tasks. I built recurring revenue through memberships and digital products so I wasn't dependent on constant launches. And during this, something unexpected happened. My business didn't shrink, it stabilized. It became predictable. It started working with me instead of against me. And for the first time, I felt like I could finally breathe. I wasn't white knuckling every single month. I wasn't living in constant what if mode, and I was building something that could last. And I feel like we glorify speed in entrepreneurship. We're like, always wanting to do things faster, get to the next milestone faster, make more money, do all these things very quickly. But speed without structure creates fragility. A business that's built on adrenaline can't survive a sick kid week, or a summer break, or a mental health dip, or a season of lower capacity. But a business built for endurance, that one is able to bend without breaking. And that's the kind of business that moms need. So let me ask you, where are you sprinting when you should be pacing? What are you trying to force into a short-term win that actually requires long-term consistency? And lastly, what would it look like to train for the next 5 years instead of the next 5 weeks? And here's something very important. There's no shame in walking a stretch of the race. Marathoners do it strategically. Walking isn't quitting, it's conserving energy so that you can finish strong. You're not behind, you're just building endurance. And if you're ready to stop sprinting and start building a business that goes the distance, come join me inside the Sustainable Success Accelerator. Inside, we focus on creating sustainable systems, simplified offers, intentional revenue streams, and energy-aware growth. Because you don't need another productivity hack, you need a pacing strategy. Let's build a business that can keep up with your life, not compete with it. Thank you so much for tuning into today's episode. I really hope you enjoyed it. I'd love it if you would head on over to our free Facebook group called Moms Make Money Collective to connect with us further. If you're more of an Instagram fan, make sure you're following us on Instagram at Moms Make Money Collective. If you're loving the show, make sure to leave us a rating and review on Apple Podcast. Your feedback means the absolute world to us. We'll see you in the next episode.